The Syrophoenician woman has everything going against her when she pushes her way into Jesus' presence. She's a woman, a Gentile, and very likely very rich. In addressing him, a man, a stranger, a Jew, she is breaking conventions. Without introduction, without a male family member bringing her request forward, she addresses Jesus. She is desperate, and she uses her own voice. Bowing down at his feet, she begs him to cast out the demon out of her daughter. How does Jesus react? Now, if this was a multiple choice test, we would have these options. A, he goes with her and heals her, or her daughter. B, he holds the woman's hand and says, "Be not afraid, all will be well." C, he bluntly refuses to do anything and insults her. It must be A or B, right? The Jesus we know would do one or the other, healing or comforting, or probably both. Alas, it's C. Jesus says, "Let the children be fed first, for it is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." Now, traditional interpretations have struggled for a long time to come to terms with this image of Jesus. And how do you feel about it? Why would Jesus refuse to help? And why would he do it in such an impolite manner? Well, he's exhausted from traveling and teaching and healing, and he tries to find some rest. And she found him, and that makes him angry. He has just a bad day. He doesn't mean it that way. In rebuking her, he is testing her faith. We like perfect people, don't we? We like their strength, their ability to handle stressful situations. We like their beauty, their kindness, their wisdom. And we expect that perfection in every moment of their lives. We are disappointed when famous people don't hold up to that glorious, godlike appearance that media, our longing, and they themselves created. When they start showing cracks, we are disappointed and at the same time relieved, because the person turned out to be, oh surprise, only human. One like us, after all. But we continue to worship perfection and talents and everything that singles others and us out of the gray mass of ordinary humanness. Why? Yes, why? Because we are bound to be disappointed. We are. Even with Jesus, God's self. Let the children be fed first, for it's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. Jesus is telling this desperate woman that his mission is for Jews, and Jews alone right now. And she's a Gentile. And a rich one, maybe. Someone who profits from oppressing Jewish people in that area as well. Like the wealthy leaders of Galilee and Judea. And she's a woman speaking out of turn. So he calls her a dog. Some commentaries have suggested that the word dog is not as harsh as it sounds. That Jesus is merely referring to her as a pet, a puppy. No. That word is dog. And dog is what he means. And dogs were used to dispose of garbage. So I think this text shows us in a very clear way that Jesus has shortcomings, that Jesus is human. Maybe it is a moment of physical and mental exhaustion. Maybe Jesus has lost sight of the point of his mission and needs someone to reconnect him with his purpose. Let the children be fed first, for it's not fair to take away the children's food and throw it to the dogs. The woman, however, is not shooed away by Jesus' harsh, insulting words. On the contrary, she answers boldly, "Sir, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." I picture that a stunned silence follows. The words sink in, and it clicks. The woman just reminded him that God's love doesn't stop at social boundaries. It doesn't stop at religious or cultural borders. God's love doesn't stick to a schedule, first the Jews, then the Gentiles. God's love goes beyond all these human constructs of ideas, and it doesn't stop when someone is in need. It is the courage of the woman to confront Jesus that changes him, just as it is the courage of Israel to demand justice from God that moves God to respond. This woman is a prophet. She sees Jesus' potential in a moment when he could not. She sees Jesus' ability to heal, restore, and make whole. Like Isaiah, she rebukes Jesus, straightens him out, and opens him up. And she reminds him of his responsibility to do just that again, to heal, restore, and make whole. Therefore, it is not surprising that the next miracle told in our reading today is that of a deaf-mute man that is cured. Ephata is what Jesus says after performing some today questionable medical procedures. Ephata, be opened. Be opened. For me, the woman heals Jesus first, before Jesus heals her daughter, because he is struggling. He himself seems to be guilty of the hypocrisy he accused the Pharisees of in last week's reading. He says, "This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far, far away from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching human precepts as doctrines." Now it is the woman who helps Jesus to find his own center in God. Be a true God and true human. And that is for sure not easy, because Jesus, Son of God, the Messiah, must suffer, not only at the hands of those who don't understand him, but also under the conditions of existence, the challenges that we all face, the challenge of being a human. Otherwise, Jesus wouldn't be fully human. So she helps him on his path. Be opened. New Testament scholar Mitzi Miner writes, "There are no external barriers between God and any human being, not race, class, ethnicity, gender, age, or physical condition. Consequently, there also should be no such barriers between human beings. Be opened, like Jesus learned to broaden his mind through this devoted mother. Acknowledge that it is a human trait to create walls and boundaries, and that these walls and boundaries might help us to organize our lives, but we also use them to justify limiting our love to our neighbor. And in that, we're limiting our potential, our ability, and our responsibility to share God's love in this world. Amen.